Good afternoon, respected faculty members, officials, fellow scholars, students, and all participants. I would like to welcome you all for the third session of the 6-day online Advanced Research Methodology workshop conducted by Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management in collaboration with DST-funded Technology Enabling Centre, TEC, Mizoram University. The topics for this session are Hands-on Lab 1, Data Curation, and Performance Analysis. I am Martha Alazir-Thangi, Research Scholar of Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mizoram University, and I will be coordinating the session. I would like to request all participants to kindly turn off your audio and video of your devices during the session to avoid any kind of disturbances. Necessary discussion can be taken up on the chat box or by raising the hand button. Now, I would like to introduce our resource person for this session, Dr. Ranjit Singh. Dr. Ranjit Singh is a faculty member at Baharampur University. He completed his PhD at Pondicherry University and received a gold medal for securing first rank during his postgraduate studies. He has qualified for the UGC Junior Research Fellowship GRF 4 times. As an academic researcher, Dr. Singh has authored 2 books published by Edward Elgar Publishing. He has also published over 15 research papers in journals indexed in the A-star, A and B categories. Alongside his teaching responsibilities, Dr. Singh serves as a peer reviewer for several international journals, evaluating submitted manuscripts in his area of expertise. Now, I would like to call upon our resource person, Dr. Ranjit Singh, to conduct his session. Sir, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Martha, for this introduction. And today, I am very happy and thanks to Rajesh sir for giving me this opportunity to act as a resource person for Mizoram Central University. Okay, now I will share my screen. Is it visible right now?
Is it visible also?
Okay,
Yes, it is visible. Yes, it is visible. Please go to respective presentation. So many are shown here.
So shall I start, sir?
Yes, please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, welcome you all for this 6-day online advanced research methodology workshop on transforming academic research and output into patents, copyrights, products, and services. So today the topic is data curation and performance analysis. The whole topic revolves around bibliometric analysis because we are here to discuss about data curation and performance analysis for bibliometric analysis. So before going to bibliometric analysis, we have to go through a little bit about the history of bibliometric analysis and how it has gained advantage in the academic. You know, in the COVID-19 pandemic, there is not possible to conduct the empirical studies. So as a researcher, we have to publish. So for that purpose, bibliometric analysis is a quantitative study which has gained importance during the COVID-19 pandemic because it uses the secondary data from Scopus and Web of Science for analysis. So I at the same time also published around 10 articles during COVID-19 pandemic because at that time, because going to field and collecting data is quite not possible at that time. So that COVID-19 pandemic gave a boost to this bibliometric analysis because bibliometric analysis was developed in the 1970s, but during the COVID-19 pandemic, it got a good boost. And the thing is that why as a scholar or as a professor, you have to publish bibliometric analysis. Because we know that bibliometric analysis has several contributions in terms of advancing research. But what is the personal contribution of bibliometric analysis? The major personal contribution is now every researcher wants to diversify their portfolio. For example, you have empirical study, but you want to diversify to bibliometric analysis or systematic review. So bibliometric analysis helps to diversify your portfolio in research. Second is the bibliometric analysis is based on the secondary research, and it is time efficient, and you require also less time to produce bibliometric analysis comparison to empirical research, because here you don't need to go to the field. Within the text, you sit, download the data, and do your analysis and submit your paper to the journal. And in my case, I wrote a bibliometric analysis within a week. So you can understand, if you are going for an empirical study, it will take 6 months, 1 year. But with a smaller frame of time, you can publish a bibliometric analysis. And third thing is, now journals also focusing to publish review or bibliometric analysis. Why? Because
excuse me, sir. I'm sorry to interrupt, sir, but if you're showing any slides, it's not showing in the screen, sir.
it is not showing.
No, sir.
Ranjit, it shows all projects. Please select your presentation. 6 days online advanced research methodology presentation is there. Just click that and open.
Yes. Now it is showing, sir?
No, sir.
No,
No,
you can see same page.
Same page. Yeah, right.
Jacob, help him now to present.
Entire screen, yeah, it's working, sir.
Yes, now it is visible.
Okay, right. Thank you, sir. Please. So now the third thing is, now the journal is
Please
also
increase the size. Sorry to disturb you. Please increase the size. Na? It's very small. You can maximize. Now it is 53, like 70, 75, like that. You can maximize. Yes, yeah, now it is. Yeah, please go ahead, Ranjit.
Yes, sir. Okay, so the third thing is, now journals are also interested to publish bibliometric analysis, because bibliometric analysis has its own advantage, because they highlight the research gaps and the trends in the study. So these are the major reasons why you, as a scholar or as a professor, you want to publish bibliometric analysis. And the bibliometric analysis, the major fundamental behind bibliometric analysis is it uses the quantitative method by utilizing mathematical and statistical principle for the evaluation of science, scientists, and scientific activity. So the major difference between the bibliometric analysis and the systematic review is the bibliometric analysis focus on quantitative and the systematic review focus on qualitative analysis. And in the literature, it is also known as science mapping, scientometric analysis also. And the major characteristic of a bibliometric analysis is it is objective, because here we are collecting the data from the database. So there is no subjective bias in the research. And second thing, it is systematic, because bibliometric analysis we cannot conduct randomly. For that, you have to design keyword, you have to be properly design the keywords, and you have to collect the data, and you have to filter the data, and you have to download the file. This follow a systematic process. That is why bibliometric analysis is called systematic analysis also. And next is reproducible, because here all the steps are clearly mentioned. If I am doing the research in bibliometric analysis, after 10 years, if someone is doing the same bibliometric analysis, the same output will be produced by the analyst. That is reproducible. And next is the quantitative. It uses the quantitative method like various index citations, H index, P index, cosine, all are quantitative method. And all are based on the metadata which is selected from the scopus, like name of the author, number of time it has been cited, reference, and all. And next it is transparent. Why it is transparent? Because we are clearly mentioning everything. There is no bias at all, and it follows a step-by-step process. Next is, what is the value of a bibliometric research? So first thing in the bibliometric research is it advances the line of research. How it advances? Because in the bibliometric analysis, the major focus of the bibliometric analysis is to produce the research gap. And in the research gap, we have to show what are the themes it has been researched and what are the future gap where the newly scholar can focus on. And next is it provides evidence-based insight. Because bibliometric analysis follow a quantitative method, there is no bias like a qualitative method. So whatever evidence will be produced is backed by whatever the data published by the researcher in their article. Next is trend. It shows the trends over time. For example, if you are choosing a topic, is there any trend changing in the trend? For example, if you search in the 2020, there will be a surge of article of COVID-19 pandemic. And in the 2023 or 24, you'll get a surge of generative artificial intelligence article like ChatGPT. That will be shown through bibliometric analysis. This is called the trend over time through a research. And if you are considering the business management research in particular, then you can see COVID-19 pandemic 2020 and 2023, 24, you can see a source of article in the AI. That will be possible through bibliometric analysis. Next is identify the prominent actors in the field, because the major focus of the bibliometric analysis is to identify the prominent authors who has published a large number of articles in that field. Next is the prominent research institutions where the author is affiliated. And next is the country. Which country has published a lot number of articles in that field. And next is it identifies the social structure in the field. Generally, social structure means the collaboration in the field. So in the bibliometric analysis, we can show how the authors of India collaborated with other countries and how other country has collaborated with India. And the collaboration can be depicted through author, through country, and through institution. These are the three methods of collaboration analysis. So next is the types of bibliometric analysis based on the scope. Generally, there are three types of bibliometric analysis. The first one is individual journal bibliometric analysis. In individual journal bibliometric analysis, we produce the analysis based on the article published in a single relevant journal. And you can see in the example like Journal of Ecotourism Bibliometric Analysis, 50 years of European journal. These are particularly based on a single journal. But here, why a journal will publish its own bibliometric analysis? That is the question you might have been in your mind. The thing is that when a journal reaches a specific milestone, such as any anniversary or any, they have completed more than 50 years, like something, or 40 years, 30 years, they will publish a journal bibliometric analysis. And that individual journal bibliometric analysis will help to account where it has been and where it is headed. And it will provide prominent information or crucial information to the journal editor, whether they have to change the theme of the journal or they want to add a new theme. So that individual journal bibliometric analysis will provide this type of information to the editor and associate editor. Next is topic bibliometric analysis. In topic bibliometric analysis, the author chooses a specific topic and he or she generate all the article from the Scopus of the Web of Science database and do the analysis. This is generally related to a particular topic. For example, if someone is interested in loyalty, they can do a bibliometric analysis on customer loyalty, and that is particularly focused on only that topic, not an individual. Next is topic bibliometric analysis in a particular discipline. In the third type of bibliometric analysis, the topic is same, but we are focusing in a single discipline. For example, we are focusing on tourism, for example. So loyalty in tourism. We are not focusing in general management. We are focusing in particularly tourism industry. How loyalty has been developed. So what they have, you have to add the keywords which are related to tourism in the scope of search, so that you will get the articles related to tourism only, not general management. Okay, you can see the example like tourism and disability bibliometric review. This article is particularly focused the context of disability in tourism only. That is tourism discipline. And next you can see blockchain application in management, a bibliometric analysis and literature review. This focus on the blockchain application particularly in the management discipline, not any other discipline, because blockchain has several applications in other industry also. But this article focus on in the management discipline. So these are the three type of bibliometric analysis. Now next is type of bibliometric approach. Generally, when a scholar or professor is writing a bibliometric analysis, they have to follow an approach. But generally, in the research papers, we follow a hybrid approach. That means some of the technique are evaluative and some of the technique are science mapping, because performance analysis is complementary to science mapping, because they both are necessary, because both are necessary for a complete bibliometric analysis. For example, if you are planning a study by using only performance analysis, then the editor will raise a question that you are providing only the number of journal, number of that. We are not interested in number. We are interested in the research gap, and the research gap will be shown by the science mapping or relational technique. Okay, so this performance analysis will act as a background for science mapping. So while writing, you have to focus on both performance analysis as well as science analysis. In performance analysis, we generally evaluate the country, university, department, or researcher based on the number of articles produced by the country, the number of articles produced by the author, as well as also it evaluated the impact. Impact is related to citation. That means how many number of citations the author has garnered, the author has, and how many number of articles got citations more than 100. So that will be done by only performance analysis. But in case of science mapping and relational technique, we will be using different type of relational technique. Relational technique means it produces different clusters, and these clusters will act as a concept, because these clusters are produced based on the relation between keywords, relation between author, relation between country. So that is why it is called the relational technique. And generally these relational technique are used to map the intellectual structure, collaboration structure, and cognitive structure of the field. And this can be done through keyword co-occurrence analysis, coupling analysis, co-citation analysis, and collaboration analysis. Now, moving to performance analysis. Performance analysis, generally three types. First is productivity measure. In the productivity measure, we generally measure the productivity in terms of number, like the number of papers cited, how many papers having more than 100 citations, how many papers are 0 cited. That is the product. And next is the number of papers per academic year. That means the number of paper published in 2020, number of paper published in 2021, number of paper published in 2022. And next is the number of papers for individual author. The author, how many papers produced by the author. Some of the author produced might 10, some of the author might 1. That that will be only shown through the productivity measure of the performance analysis. Generally, in the performance analysis, we show the number, not the citation, because citation will be measured through the impact matrix. And in the impact matrix, we consider the citation as the impact or influence, because when you are publishing or when any author or researcher is publishing the article, we will know the influence of that article through the citation it has received from the other authors. Okay, some author might be productive, but some author might not be, so that article might not be impactful. Because why? The author has produced 10 articles, but these articles are unable to garner citation. Why? So from that we can understand that the influence of these articles is less. Why? Because they have got limited citation. So citation will be used for measure the impact. Like total number of citations, that is, if you are producing, in the Scopus you got 100 articles, how many times these 100 articles cited. Next is the number of citations for academic year. So in that, in 2021, how many number of citations that the collected article got? In 2022, how many citations that collected article got? Next is the number of citations for individual author, how many citations the author 1 got, and how many citations the author 2 got, or the journal. So these are called the impact. Next is hybrid matrix. In the hybrid matrix, it combines both productivity measure as well as the impact matrix. For example, because the indices aim to capture both productivity and impact in the single figure, that is average number of citations per year. This is an example of hybrid matrix, because both citation as well as the number of paper is there. So that is why it is called the hybrid matrix. Because here I have only indicated for the sake of example, like in the productivity 3 measures, impact 3. There are n number of measures are there. That will be shown in the tomorrow session about the productivity and impact, when you will be conducting hands-on through bibliosigning. That will be shown, this productivity, impact, and hybrid metrics. Next is science mapping analysis, because this is a very crucial aspect of bibliometric analysis. And if you go with only performance analysis, then the article will be rejected, because your focus should be less in performance analysis, more should be in science mapping analysis, because no one is interested in number. Everyone is interested in themes or the intellectual structure, how the concept has been developed. And if you are giving more than 50% focus on this evaluative technique and ignoring science mapping, then there is a chance your article got rejected. So your focus as an author or a professor should be focused on science mapping, because science mapping contributes a lot towards the bibliometric. This is the actual contribution of your article. And in the science mapping, the first one is co-citation analysis. Generally, we conduct co-citation analysis to depict the intellectual structure. Generally, in the co-citation analysis, we consider the references of the articles collected from the database. And if these references are co-cited in the documents, they will have in common something, in something, and that shows the concept or the intellectual structure in the article. That is, it pairs the documents which often appear together in the reference list that are co-cited. Together after the co-cited are likely to have something common. And this is also called, this co-citation is also called a forward movement, because you can see in the image, that is paper A and B, and the citations are C, D, E, A, F. These are common in both the documents. And next is the coupling analysis. That is a coupling analysis. In the coupling analysis, two documents, two papers cite one or more of the exact same reference item in their bibliography. Because in the coupling analysis, we generally consider the documents, and we generally consider the document, and if two papers cite one or more exact same reference item in their bibliography, then it will be both the article have coupled. You can see that document A, C, D, E, F, and they are cited item A and B. And next is co-authorship analysis. This is called the social structure. And in the co-authorship analysis, it is a quantitative approach. That method is used to study for the scientific collaboration. As I stated previously, that is the social structure, or also known as the co-authorship analysis. We deal with the collaboration aspect, and collaboration in terms of author, country, and institution. And you might have been thinking, what is the importance of this co-authorship analysis? Because there are several importance. Because through this, it will depict how the authors of various countries or institutions have been collaborated in that field, and that will give an indication to the new researcher that which country have published more and why they have published more. Because there will be a development. If you are, for example, if you are conducting a authorship analysis of generative AI, you will get the USA will be the foremost part. Why? Because most of the authors have focused in generative AI from the USA. So this will be possible through the social structure analysis. Next is cohort analysis, and cohort analysis is also known as the co-occurrence analysis, and through this will be depicting the conceptual structure. Because generally conceptual structure will be developed by using the metadata collected from the articles, that is keywords. And there are generally two types of keyword. One is author have provided the keyword. That is one form of keyword. Another form of keyword is the keyword assigned by the database. Once you publish the article, it will be indexed in the database, and the database will assign some keywords to the article. Co-occurrence analysis can be done by using both the keyword assigned by the author as well as the keyword assigned by the databases. But generally, we consider as the author, generally we consider the keyword assigned by the authors, because it is the most suitable aspect of the article. Because generally, when there might be a chance by mistake that the database might mistakenly assigning the keyword, but author may not. So generally, we consider the keywords assigned by the author. Once you are ready with this, you have to the first step. The first step of the bibliometric. Once you formulate the objective of the article, the next step is the data curation. It involves several steps like data collection, data filtration, and data download. So first thing in your mind is data collection. In the data collection, first important aspect of data collection is database, because there are several databases available like Scopus, Web of Science, Google Scholar, like several databases are there. But using a database depends upon the researcher. Whether the database is accessible. For example, if you are a scholar student of Mizoram University, whether the Scopus database is available or Web of Science. If Scopus is available, you will be finding Scopus is only useful. Because why? Web of Science is not available. And if Web of Science is available, Scopus is not available, then you will be finding Web of Science is good. And in some of the institutions, both Scopus and Web of Science are available. That is well and good. You can collect article from Scopus as well as Web of Science. You can merge the database. You can do the analysis. And when you are choosing the database, you have to justify in your article why you are choosing the database. For example, if you are choosing Scopus, why you are choosing Scopus, why not Web of Science? And if you are choosing Web of Science, why you are choosing Web of Science, why you are not choosing Scopus? So you have to justify, because research is all about justification. And if you have a justification, and how you can provide justification? By going through the previously published study. In the previously published study, in some of the article, they will be focused on the Scopus. That means they have provided what were the advantage of the Scopus, and you have to write that advantage in your article. and particularly those articles which mention the advantage of Scopus over Web of Science. If you are choosing Scopus, but if you are choosing both, that is well and good. You can collect the data from the Scopus and Web of Science, and you can merge the data, and you can remove the duplication, and you can analyze the data. And next step is how we can collect the data, because data collection process involves use of Boolean operators as well as keywords. So first, what you have to, I forgot to mention here that the major importance is the keywords. So what you have to do, you have to collect some keywords related to the data. For example, you want to study a research, or you want to conduct a bibliometric analysis on loyalty. Okay, for loyalty, you have to generate your keywords. And how you can generate your keywords? By reading the most influential articles published in the area of loyalty. Because see, going Scopus and doing all the analysis, it is not a one-step process. Sometimes you have to randomly do exploratory research in the Scopus to produce thorough keywords. So it is necessary to do 3-4 times to get, because the major importance of data collection is how you will get much number of articles from the data that is necessary. And if you want to get much number of articles, you have to comprehensively include all the keywords. For example, for loyalty, you can include loyalty, customer loyalty, intention, word of mouth, all are related to loyalty. So you have to include all these keywords in your search, and you have to properly design. You have to properly design a protocol for this. That is necessary. Which keyword we should use, and you will be getting this keyword by reading the most influential article. For example, in the loyalty, there are some authors, they have produced like 10 to 20 articles. And if you read the article, you will understand the concept. Accordingly, you can design your keyword. Once you are done with the keyword, the next step is Boolean operators, because Boolean operators play a key role in the data collection process. Because this Boolean operator, you can, by using the Boolean operator, you can narrow down your keywords, you can broaden your keywords, and you can remove also some of the keywords which are not necessary. And it will be also helpful for grouping of the keywords and also getting the actual words from the database. For example, the Boolean operator and is used to narrow your search. It finds the result that are all your keywords. For example, if you search like sustainable and tourism, those articles which have these two words will be produced through the search process. So, and will be used generally to narrow down your research. And next is OR. OR is generally used to broaden your research. It finds the results that have any of the word you list, which is great for synonym. Just for example, you want to do a research on loyalty in the hotel, loyalty of hotel. For example, customer loyalty in the hotel in the context you want to study. Because you can see hotel, resort, all are quite similar, and accommodation also similar. So in this case, the Boolean operator or will be more helpful, because you can add hotel or accommodation or resort. By using or, it will produce the article which article mention any of these keywords. If the article mention hotel, the article will be produced by the Scopus. If it also mention accommodation, it will be produced, or resort also it will be produced. But if you are using and, then it will particularly produce the article whichever word is mentioned in that. It will be not produce other terms. So very cautious while using this and or. Next is not. Not is generally used to again narrow down a research. For example, you want to study the loyalty in case of hotel only. 5-star hotel, 2-star, 3-star hotel, not in case of resort or accommodation. So not can be used in that case, and not cannot be solely used. It should be used with and. That means hotels and not accommodation, or any term you want to remove from the short field, you can use and not. So with the and, if you are using the and not, that word, the article which publishes, if there is any keyword in the title or abstract, that will be not produced by the Scopus or Web of Science. Why? Because you have limited yourself by using the Boolean operator and or not. So generally while searching, we use and or most of the researchers use and or, because these are the very important Boolean operator in case of collecting data from the Scopus or Web of Science. Next, other symbols are there, like question mark. In the question mark is generally used to replace a single character. For example, you can see there will be article, they will have a woman and they will have a women, because both are necessary. So what you have to do, you have to you remove the A or E with a question mark. That means when you are using WOM question mark N or WM question mark M, then the article will be produced which have mentioned both women and women, because the question mark removes the A and E. So for that purpose, we have to use the question mark. Next is asterisk, and asterisk or the star mark would be generally used when you want to collect the data from, because there will be some various keywords will be there. Okay, like color, colorful, color. So what you have to do in the color, COLUR, you have given a star mark, and within the star mark, what will happen? It will produce the articles related to colorful, color, all the articles related to this will be produced. And next is the quotation mark. And if you want to sort in Scopus, you can use the quotation mark. If you are using a quotation mark, it will produce all the loose words related to this. For example, you can see the quotation mark in the blue bar. It will produce blue bar, blue bars, as well as blue hyphen bar. So in that case, the quotation mark will be very much helpful. Next is the bracket, and the star bracket will be used when you read that, when you need that particular word. And next is the bracket is there, you can use for grouping. For grouping word, because if you are using 10 to 12 words, you can use the bracket, because the bracket will act as how you form the grouping. For example, you want to sort like sustainable and tourism. You give a bracket and you can use the Boolean operator or, and next is sustainable and travel. You can keep it in the bracket. Next step, because once you have done with the Boolean operator, you are ready with your keyword by using the Boolean operator. Next is the process is the, once you are done, then you have to collect the data. Because if you want to sort, there will be thousands of articles will be produced by the Scopus. But getting thousands of the article may not be relevant to your research. So what you have to do? You have to filtration. You have to do a filtration process for that. And filtration process in Scopus and Web of Science can be done through year. For example, you want to select 10 year, 20 year, 25 year, 30 year, depend upon your research level. Okay. Next is the subject. For example, if you are a management discipline, you can select only management discipline. Not you will reject all the other discipline, and you will be limiting to your article to management discipline. And filtration can be also be done through language. Generally, as a author researcher, we use English language, so better to limit it to English language. And there is also a filtration of author. If you want to conduct a bibliometric analysis on individual author, For example, there are some prominent author in the tourism field. There is a prominent author called Dr. Buhalis, and you can do a bibliometric analysis of Buhalis. You can just simply only tick that author, and the article will be produced by the scopus written by this author only. You can do a bibliometric. Next is the institution. Institution, if you want to do filtration of article to Indian institution, then just you can do like Indian Institute of Management, IIT, IIM, Pondicherry, Mizoram, like you can do the filtration process in the institution. Okay. Once you are done with the filtration process, next is downloading the file. And in the Scopus, there are several formats are there, like BibTeX file, RIS file, TIT file. So based on the tool you are using, for example, if you are using bibliometrics tool, it reads only BibTeX file. And for you can see, if you are using host viewer, because these are the tools we can be using for the visualization purpose, that will read CSV file. So depend upon the tool, you have to choose the format of your download, like say BibTeX or CSV, then you can download it. But there is a region of download. If you are downloading your data from Web of Science, at a time, Web of Science can download only maximum to 500 articles, not more than that. So if your article length is 2500, then you have to download 5 times, because the maximum capacity of Web of Science is 500. And now there will be again a question is that now I have downloaded 5 times now, because the software reads only a single file. Now you have 5 files. So what you have to do, you have to merge that file. And how you can merge the file? Just simply open the BibTeX file in the notepad, first file. All the file you open in the notepad, like 5 files. Then you copy paste the notepad file, that 2, 3, 4, 5 notepad file to the first file, and copy paste it, and make sure there is no changes in the coding of that text file or any format change, because once there is a format change in the notepad, it will give error while analysis in the bibliometrics or biblioscience. So be very careful while copy paste and merging this file. And in the Scopus, there is no limitation. You can download 2000 articles, 2500 articles. There is, but each have their own advantage and disadvantage. As I said, you have to use based on your availability and your knowledge about the database. That is necessary. Next step is data preparation, because you can see now you have downloaded the articles. But the thing is that now if you are directly doing the analysis, whatever data you collected, then there might be some of the articles which are out of scope, and there might be some of the articles which need edits. So what is in the data preparation process? First, you have to download the data, and there is a software. First, you have to download the BibTeX file from the Scopus or Web of Science. There is a software called JabRef. The software name is JabRef. In the JabRef, what you have to do, you have to import the data. Once you import the data, you will read, the JabRef software will read all the articles. JabRef software will read all the articles, and you can read the articles there. You can read the abstract, you can read the title. If you see that the number 3 article is not relevant to the scope of the study, you can change that article directly from the JabRef without changing the file format, because once you delete, you will automatically set the BibTeX format. There will be no issue with the databases. Okay, and next is editing the data. You can do editing. For example, you can see there are some, if you are see while indexing Scopus and Web of Science, in some of in my articles also, some of the article it is written seeing are some of the article it is written Ranjit Singh because the author is same, but the names are different. So what you have to do? You have to edit the data. Either you can edit with the JavaScript or simply you open the BibTeX file with the notepad and simply whatever like you want to keep R Singh only. So you replace Ranjit Singh with R Singh and it will be replace all the R Singh, all the Ranjit Singh with R Singh. Similarly, there will be some keywords like American version is there and British version is there. So you can edit the data so that once you edit the data, there will be no error or there will be no duplication while doing the analysis. So you have to thoroughly edit the data before the analysis. That is necessary. And this is the most important part of the data curation. You will have a, for example, if you are having 200 articles, I know this is a very hectic process to edit the data, but if you want to publish, you have to do it because editing is necessary because you cannot go with the raw data file, error will be produced. And once you edit the data, save the file. Now file is ready for the analysis. Next is bibliometric tools. Now the file is ready. Next is you have to choose the tools. There are several tools available for bibliometric analysis. For example, BOSS Viewer, Bibliometrics, BiblioSigny, CMAT, and SiteSpace. But most advanced bibliometric tool is Bibliometrics and its web version, that is BiblioSigny. Because BOSS Viewer you can do, that is easy. But the problem is BOSS Viewer doesn't provide customization. It has limited customization. And BOSS Viewer reads only CSV file. Okay. And so it depends. It depends because in the list of the tools, some of the tools are subscription based. And if it is subscription based, you have to pay a fee. And in the most of the institutions in India may not offer you to like buy this subscription. So better you go for free and open source software. So what is open? That is Bibliometrics, BOSS Viewer, or Bibliometrics. These are open source software. You don't need to pay and you can easily use. And there is also a website called bibliometrics.com. They have provided all the information related to how to use the bibliometrics, how to download, how to run in R. Everything is there. You can read and you can understand. And tomorrow also I will show you how to run in R as well as in the BiblioSigny in the answer. And the factors affecting depend like price of subscription, as I said, customization, ease of use, sophistication, and the purpose of research. Okay, for example, in the BOSS Viewer, there are some relation technique you not have, but these are available in bibliometrics. And if your purpose of the research is to do that analysis, and you have to choose bibliometrics, not BOSS Viewer, because BOSS Viewer that analysis is not available. That is only available in bibliometrics. So it depends upon the purpose of research. Next is the points to remember for publishing bibliometric research, because the most important point is whatever you learn or whatever you read, if you are not able to produce evidence, generally in the current world, we will feel that is useless. For example, I am reading n number of articles, but if you are not able to produce one article on bibliometric, then might be your guide or supervisor will say you have not done anything. Because why? Now all the professor or institution, they believe in output, not in whatever you read. So while writing output or the research report, you have to consider some of the important points, because these are the tested method, and these are picked from my research only, because I have published more than 10 bibliometric articles, and I have got also more than 10 rejection of bibliometric articles. So these are some of the important topics I summarized from the rejection as well as from the acceptance of an article, and now I will share so that it will help you to publish your article, because most of the fellow are early career researchers, and some of the fellow might be interested to publish bibliometric analysis or any review paper. This will help. So first thing you have to consider is the novelty of the topic, tool, or method. Novelty can be based on the topic, novelty can be based on tool, or novelty can be based on the method. Novelty of the topic, do not write any bibliometric analysis which has been already conducted. For example, if you are writing a bibliometric analysis on customer satisfaction, then there will be lot of bibliometric analysis on customer satisfaction. If you are producing the same thing, then you are contribute nothing. You are just reproducing. And if you have done you have wrote the article, now you are submit, you will get rejection. Why? Because there is no novelty in the topic. So first thing, you have to identify a novel topic in which the bibliometric study has not been conducted. Or if it is conducted, you have to narrow down the topic again. You have to narrow down. For example, customer satisfaction you want to study. You want to study customer satisfaction in the supermarket. There might be some study in customer satisfaction in general, but there is no study on customer satisfaction in supermarket. So what is your novelty? Customer satisfaction in the supermarket. Okay, so you have to choose you have to keep in mind that I have to contribute something through your article and the topic should be novel. And next is tool. And there are several, for example, there is a one tool recently launched in 2027. And if you are doing study by using the tool and you are not using bibliometrics or Vossphere, then your contribution is you are showing the scholar or researcher how to use the tool. That is your contribution because you are doing the bibliometric analysis, but you are using a novel tool. Okay. Next is method. And there are several methods for conducting bibliometric analysis, and each author have their own thought process to design the bibliometric analysis. And if your design is novel and you are pioneer in that method, then there is a chance your article will be published. So keep in mind that novelty of topic, tool, and method is necessary for publishing bibliometric analysis. Generally, in most of the, if you see the general thing of bibliometric analysis is we are just reviewing the existing published article. Okay, so we have to make a strong foundational contribution because in case of empirical studies, you have some contribution. You have contribution because you have done a research on topic. But in the bibliometry, we are reviewing the study. So reviewing means the topic should be novel, the tool should be novel, and method should be novel. And next is do not focus on why. Focus on why. Because if your focus is what, then your study will be descriptive in nature. What is descriptive? Means you are giving only number of author, number of citations, and only number you are focusing. Because as a reader, I may not be interested in number. Why I'll be interested who published how much, how many number of articles published as well? Because this is the this may not be interested for me. I'll be interested what is the intellectual structure, what is the research gap, and what is the theme developed, and what are the research gap or what is the current trend. You should always focus on the evaluative technique or relational technique to identify the research theme, research gap, and in the bibliometrics, there are more than 10 types of relational technique is there by using author, country, and all. You should focus and you should each cluster. And in this relational technique, cluster will be produced and each cluster show some theme and you have to identify the theme, what is the trend in theme, and even you can do RPSY analysis to see whether there is a trend in changing. A lot of things are available in bibliometry. You can do this because my focus is you should focus on why, not on what. Because I got 3 rejections because most in that article I focus on what, not in the why. Although I focus in why, but it was limited. Later I realized that we should focus on why, and the editor, sorry, that reviewer suggested me, Ranjit, you should focus on why, not in why. Next is explain the selection of the tool. As I said, there are several number of tools are available. There are several numbers of tools are available. If you are using bibliometric, why bibliometrics? Why not Vossphere? Because generally see, because as I am an author as well as a reviewer, as an editor also in some of my book, research needs justification. You have to justify. The question is why you are reading, what is the reason? And you have to complement this answer with the previously published study. Because citation is necessary, because if you are using bibliometrics, that means if that you have identified from the previous published research paper that they have used bibliometrics and they have identified the advantage of bibliometric over the other two. So what you have to do, you have to write down the advantage with proper justification, how you can justify according to the author. According to the author means the author has to, you have to cite that author, that these author said this or these paper said this, that is relevant. Because if you are saying, nobody will believe it. Because we need evidence. Because as the author, I am saying means that is just like I said means good. No, that should be supported by the evidence. And evidence is what? The previously published articles. That is necessary. You have to do that. And next is explain the selection of database. Okay. So you now there, as I said, there are several databases. Web of Science, Scopus database, and Google Scholar, because Google Scholar doesn't support the format of analysis. So main to the and dimension is also there. So main database is Scopus and Web of Science. And Scopus has its own advantage and Web of Science is its own advantage. And Scopus has its own disadvantages. Web of Science has its own disadvantages. So if you are choosing only or selecting only one single database, then you have to offer justification why you are using only Scopus, why not Web of Science. That is necessary. So what you have to do, those studies we have already published the paper by using the Scopus database, you just have to identify what are the advantages they have mentioned. You have to just write the advantage of Scopus and just cite the paper. But here, don't mention the papers which have provided the advantage of Web of Science. Because think that in research, if you are using Scopus means you have to cite the article which shows the advantage of Scopus. And if you are citing the article which shows disadvantage of Scopus, then it creates problematic for you, because that will be a conflicting. Because you are saying Scopus, then you are saying the Scopus is not. So whenever you are choosing only one single database, you have to provide justification. What are the advantages of this database with the proper justification by citing the previously published article. And next is focus most on the relational technique. As I said, that there are several relational techniques that co-occurrence analysis, coupling analysis, and co-citation analysis. And your focus should be on relational technique, because this relational technique will help to understand the themes and how the research has been developed over time. So it is necessary to focus on relational technique with evaluative technique. That is, your focus should be relational, but don't forget to mention the evaluative technique, because both are necessary. And next is write a strong introduction, because this is a very critical step while publishing bibliometric analysis. Why I am saying this is a critical step? Because in the introduction, we have to provide the reason why we are conducting the bibliometric analysis. For example, if you are conducting an individual bibliometric analysis, individual journal, then you can provide justification like that the journal is reaching its 20th anniversary. So we are conducting the bibliometric analysis to analyze the intellectual stock of the journal and to provide further guidance to the author, editor, or whoever interested in the journal. You can write it, because the reason is what? Because the journal is achieving a major milestone. If you are doing an individual journal bibliometric analysis, you have to justify, because the introduction will act as a face of your article. And if it is good, we feel that the article is good. And if you are not able to clearly mention in the introduction why you are conducting bibliometric analysis, because bibliometric analysis has its own disadvantage. What is the disadvantage? Because we are just reviewing the article, and some of the journals, they do not publish bibliometric analysis. So your justification, you should justify in such a way that your article should convince the editor to consider for the next process. Because if you are unable to convince, there is a high chance your article will be DEX rejected. So you don't want that your article got DEX rejected. So write a strong introduction. And if you are doing a topic bibliometric analysis or topic in a particular discipline, then you have to focus on that topic in which there is no bibliometric analysis is there. And if they have already conducted a bibliometric analysis, then going for conducting another bibliometric analysis means you are accepting rejection in your submission. That is true, because if there is a publication is there who then no journal will be interested in your article, because you are contributing nothing, you are just replicating. So what you have to do in that case, you have to, your topic should be novel. As I said, your topic should be novel, and you should narrow down your research. You should narrow down that, just like I said, customer satisfaction in like in the supermarket, and you have to narrow down, because there will be some bibliometric analysis, they are focused in the wide area, but you want to narrow down. That is also a contribution you can write. And next is focus on theoretical, practical, industrial implications. So this is the very crucial aspect of bibliometric analysis, because we do a lot of hard work for the bibliometric analysis. And if we are ignoring this theoretical, practical, industrial implication, then there is a high chance your article will be DEX rejected. Generally, in bibliometric analysis, create a separate heading of theoretical, practical, or industrial. If it is theoretical, generally we focus on theoretical and practical because review of paper. So you do a particular heading in your article and mention the theoretical and practical implication of your article. In the theoretical implication, how your bibliometric article contributes the theory development or theory improvement. In the practical application, how this bibliometric analysis helps the practitioners or policy formulation, you can say. Okay, so that is necessary because we are writing the article for contribution, and the contribution will be shown through this theoretical and practical implication. In my experience, whenever I review article, I go after reading the abstract, I go through directly the theoretical practical implication. If I see there is a limited theoretical and practical implication, immediately I will not further go to methodology, whatever they have applied, I will not go, because you can see there is a limited implication. And if there is a limited implication, the article has a limited chance to be a part of this prestigious journal. So in bibliometric analysis, the point you should remember while writing the theoretical implication is you focus on the research theme, and from the research theme you can write your theoretical contribution, because see, when you are writing this theoretical practical implication, generally you take your time, you read thoroughly, you understand the relational technique, because most of the theoretical and practical implication comes from the relational analysis, that is key occurrence, covert key occurrence analysis, because here you have to highlight the theme and what is the gap, because we are publishing the bibliometric analysis to identify the research gap, and you should mention these research gap as your theoretical analysis, because this is the actual contribution of your article, because we are conducting the bibliometric review, and review means what? To suggest the future gap or anything that has not been properly studied and you have highlighted in your paper. That is your contribution. You have to write it down. And the next is strong emphasis on future research gap. So you have to be a particular section on the future research gap. In the research gap, you can divide, for example, if you are considering a 30 years of a topic. So in the 30 year, you divide your article like first 10 years, second 10 years, third 10 years. In the first 10 years, what was studied and what is the gap. In the second, what was studied and what is the gap. In the third also, because that will give a clear picture about the topic. Because if you are going to, that will give a clear picture. And as a reader of this journal or wherever you are submitting, I am interested in the research gap and with the time frame. With the time frame, for example, the first time frame, what is the gap? And in the second time, and that will help those early career researchers to identify the gap so that further research can be done in near future. That is necessary. Okay. Next is target the journal that publishes the bibliometric paper. So this is very important because if you are thinking that according to that Australia Business Dean Council, they are ranking A star, A, B, C. And if you are thinking that I'll write an article and I will be publishing in A star, so that may not be true in all the cases. But generally, the A star article, they do not publish this bibliometric analysis. In my personal experience, because I submitted a bibliometric article to Annals of Tourism Research, and Annals of Tourism is a very good journal in tourism field. And that editor directly rejected my paper because why she rejected my paper? That she directly said to me or directly wrote in that mail that you have wrote the paper, but you don't have experience in that because as a early career research, that article was tourism and disability, which I published in the Tourism Recreation Journal. That is a paper, A journal. But I targeted to A star, but I got rejection because why? Because there are some other prominent author in that field. Okay, like Simon Darcy is a prominent author in the tourism and disability. So they want Simon Darcy can write the paper, so they will publish because Simon Darcy has expertise more than 20 years in the disability. But I have only 3 or 4 years experience. Okay, so you have to be very careful. In that case, what you can do, you can collaborate with some of the person who have a background or who have a history of producing that type of research article in that same area. Now, generally, A star, they do not publish bibliometric analysis. That might be a reason, or that might be a direct reason or an indirect reason of not publishing bibliometric paper. It is the totally view of that editor. Okay, but my personal experience is that I also interact with some A star editors also. I raised this question. They said directly to me, Ranjit, you can see that in bibliometric paper, you have to be agreed that it has limited contribution. That we know. That is why, because as a journal of higher ranking, we particularly interested in empirical study that can be either quantitative or qualitative or a mixed method of study, because this is the actual contribution and this is the aim and scope of the journal. So when you are writing a bibliometric paper, you have to check whether that journal publishes bibliometric paper or not. So what you have to do, for example, if you want to publish your bibliometric paper on tourism management or journal of business research or any other thing, you go their website, just type in the home page, there is a search button, you type bibliometric and search. And if you identify that these journal publish bibliometric papers, then you focus on, you submit the paper to the journal. If you do not identify any paper related to bibliometric in that journal, then please don't submit it because it will be rejected because they are not interested in bibliometric papers. And generally, this A, B, C category, they publish bibliometric papers, but A star, they are very limited. And if you want to publish, you have to be experienced and you are having a foundational knowledge on that field and you are having more than 20 or 30 years and you are a prominent, then only they will consider. And if you are a early career researcher and you are planning to go for, even you can see a lot of the IIT and IIM scholar, there is a journal called International Journal of Consumer Studies. Okay, that was handled by Dr. Justin Paul. And he is a prominent author in systematic review. So he focuses on systematic review, and a lot of the scholars from IIT, they published the first paper in that journal. Why? Because that journal give a special emphasis to review paper. And you can see a lot of systematic review. And the journal is got, I think, 6th or 7th number in terms of bibliometric papers. So you can target that journal because they are voraciously publishing bibliometric paper. And if you are focusing on the journal which is not publishing that paper, then just a wastage of time, because the review process takes some time. The review process, the initial desk process takes 1 month, 6 months, and some of might also complaining that okay, I submitted, I did it on and around there are 6 months already gone, there is no response from the editor. So before doing that, we have to do a practical analysis whether this article having a chance in that journal. If there is no chance, okay, then do not submit it. If there is a chance, what you have to do? You wrote the article, but let us customize this article based on the journal where you want to submit, because they have there some standards. Like you will get some idea if you are reading the articles published in that journal. You have to thoroughly read 2-3 papers in the in that journal article, and you can customize your study according to this. Okay, because the thing is that we, as an author or as a researcher, we are having a high ambition, because we always want to publish A star and A. Because if you are asking someone, are you interested to publish B or C? Okay, these they might not be interested. When the article got rejected in A star A, then it will get a place in B or C. But our focus is to publish in A star, not in B and C. So better, why to accept the rejection? Why not to improve? Okay. And if it is possible also, you wrote a bibliometric article, if you have any known person or any researcher, author who is having expertise in the bibliometry, let the article be reviewed by that author. If he or she is interested, depend upon their time or availability of time, and what is your connection with them. Let them review, because they will provide a strong foundational idea to your article, because they have already published a lot of articles in that field. So you'll have an idea about this, and you can ask directly and you can connect with them. If they agree to review, they will provide some constructive suggestion to your article that will directly help you to improve at it. Because in my case, a lot of people who are doing bibliometry, a lot of scholars who are doing bibliometric papers, they approached me. Even I help also a lot of fellow in case, because I generally review the article and I provide also comments as suggestion how you can improve. Because generally in the tourism field, if you are like writing a bibliometric paper on tourism, there is a high chance I will be the reviewer, because I am having a history of publishing more than 10 articles in bibliometric. So the first choice of the editor will be Ranjit. Because why? He has published a lot of bibliometric analysis. So better if you identify the expert, like okay, there is a chance that he will be the reviewer. So why not get into review the paper with that person or author? That will give added advantage next time. Okay, if we fortunately that paper, the editor sent that paper to that paper, they will have a high chance, because that author already reviewed your paper. That is a high chance. So these are the factors you have to consider while publishing bibliometry. Because I don't know, the bibliometry paper is all about understanding what has been published. So when you are focusing on what has been published, you have to be very cautious about your introduction, about your objective, tool, and everything you should focus. Okay, thank you. This is all about this data curation, and regarding the performance analysis that tomorrow I'll do with the biblio signing. So now it is the last 15 minutes. So if you have any question, you can raise to me. I'll be very happy to address your questions.
Thank you, Ranjit. It was a wonderful session. Now floor is open.
If you have any question related to publishing, or you are planning to publish, or you have already prepared the article, if you have doubt to submit any journal or something, you can ask it. No issue.
Sir, I think certain questions were raised in the inbox, the
Okay.
chat box. If you can check that out, sir, please.
Okay. Okay, regarding that bibliometric analysis, that is tomorrow I am having a session. That session I will show you a hands-on on bibliosign. Okay. So tomorrow I will show you how to conduct this evaluative and relational technique. Okay, tomorrow I will demonstrate it. Okay, tomorrow I will demonstrate it. That software name is JabRef. That software name is JabRef. This is a very useful software for like you can filtration of data you can do. And tomorrow I'll be demonstrating how to collect the data and how to do analysis everything. Tomorrow also I am having session. Well, actually the thing is that the doing hands-on it requires half an hour. So we are having only 15 minutes. So better to take questions and tomorrow we'll demonstrate it.
Dr. Ranjit, I have a question.
Yes,
so
sir.
please share your experience as an author and as a reviewer with respect to bibliometric analysis.
Okay. So thank you, Rajesh, sir, asking, because see, because I have completed my PhD from Pondicherry University. Previously, actually, I was admitted to Sikkim Central University. Okay. So I spent 6 months in Sikkim Central University. I left there because of this mountain area. I am not quite like that has some disadvantages to me. Okay. So I left and I admitted to Pondicherry University, and thanks to Pondicherry University and giving me a chance there. Okay. So when it was actually I joined in the university, and I have some focus to do because I have seen a lot of people that time actually in the tourism field, only 1 or 2 handful of scholars like Rajesh and all, those who are publishing in Scopus and Web of Science Journal. And when I joined in the department, I saw that scholars are struggling to publish in Scopus and Web of Science. Even Jamia Millia, they were also struggling in Pondicherry, they were struggling. So I identified there are some loophole, because loophole in the sense means the department is interested, but the problem with the candidate is they were not able to learn the tools. Okay. So in the COVID-19 pandemic, the university immediately shut down, and I have to travel my hometown. In the hometown, the access, only Scopus Web of Science access is there, and the empirical study we can't do it. Okay. What I saw, that one fellow I think everybody know the name of Dr. Satish Kumar, who is the pioneer in bibliometric analysis. I mean, a lot of people, those who are already done or interested in doing, they might be reading the article, and they have published an article on Journal of Business Research, how to conduct bibliometric analysis. This is those who are interested, they can read the article. So what I realized that fellow from business management background, and he is doing bibliometric analysis in tourism field, and we are doing nothing. And that is the same to like me, like as an author, because I am from the tourism field and I am not able to writing bibliometric. So I took that opportunity and I challenged, why not tourism scholar were able to publish a bibliometric article in tourism journal, and why others are doing it? Because we are tourism and multidisciplinary, everyone can come and they can write, they can publish, and we as a tourism scholar always struggle. And this is the theory like in the tourism field. So it started like this, then I started, so I thought, okay, let us write a bibliometric article, because if Satish Kumar can do, Dr. Satish Kumar, why not I? Because he is from management background, I am from tourism, I know tourism better than him. So my first journey was started in 2020 in the COVID-19 pandemic. So my first article got published in Journal of Teaching in Travel and Tourism. In that, I was the second author. I was exploring because my co-author was written the article. I was exploring at the time. So that time actually, our studio, because we as a tourism scholar, we have very limited knowledge on statistics and all. When we see mean, median, deviation in the article, we got mad. Okay, like, oh, this is not my cup of tea, like this. Okay, we generally as a tourism scholar feel. So what I did previously, before publishing bibliometric article, I published article in a compliance of accessibility tourism website that is related to differently able people traveler. Okay, so in that I have to do a cluster analysis. So for that cluster analysis, I find the SPSS are very tough for doing, and even customization also very, like this. So someone told me, why Ranjit, you are not trying R? Why you are not trying? Then I took 10 days to learn R, and I think then I also able to publish that article by using R that got first-hand experience to R. Next is this in this bibliometric. Like Boss Beer, I see, but particularly Boss Beer, you go, there is a limited customization, all the things like things. Then that time, that tool bibliometric that was launched in 2017. So I find that tool is very, very helpful, and I experimented a lot. And if you see, thanks to God, actually, whatever I learned, there is no godfather behind me. Whatever I learned through myself. I did not approach anyone like, okay, help me like this. If I have any issue, I directly mail the problem to the author or the writer who produced the bibliometric tool. And I am fortunate I got the answer. Okay. So that give me, because I already have an idea about R, and and I applied that R knowledge through my bibliometric analysis. And I got a fast success in Journal of Travel and Tourism, and I never looked back. And some of the journals also I got actually for one journal, that Journal of Quality Assurance in Hospitality Tourism, I got offer from the editor to write the bibliometric analysis. And the editor offered me, Ranjit, can you write a bibliometric analysis? Because that time I was in focus writing this bibliometric analysis particular to individual journal. So that editor offered me, and I wrote it. And within that 6 months, it got published. And another article I published, that is Journal of Ecotourism. You may not believe it. I wrote it within 5 days. Within 5 days, I wrote it. It took me 5 days to write whole bibliometric article, and I got it published within 30 days. This is the very small time frame for this, because that was very good article. Also, you can take a reference of this. Whoever is interested in bibliometric analysis, you can go to my profile. I have more than 10 bibliometric analysis, and most of bibliometric analysis I use BiblioSigny and bibliometrics, and you can get the idea. So for this early career researcher, I have a suggestion is, you identify a niche area where you can focus. I identify the niche area is bibliometric, because at that time nobody was publishing bibliometric. So I was the pioneer, and once I realized that now it is populated by a lot of other scholars, then I left the field. Because now it is already populated, and once it is already populated, you will find very, very difficult to publish. Because now there are several experts in bibliometric. At the time, I was the only tourism. You can see now management, tourism, all are publishing bibliometric. This is quite challenging. And also in my personal experience, like a journal in tourism recreation research, they have a particular slot for bibliometric analysis. When I submitted one, they rejected. They said, now we don't have any slot. We have already published more than 20 review papers. So at this time, we are not publishing any review paper. And next year, after 1 year, I got it published. So my suggestion is, you identify a niche area. You identify a niche area of your focus, and be a pioneer in that field. So that whatever I am talking to there, that is bibliometric analysis to you, you might be expert in that field. You might be talking to someone else after completing your PhD, after joining a faculty member. So identify a niche area where your interest and expertise match with that area. Whether it can be a particular topic, it can be a particular tool, it can be a particular methodology. It depends, because starting is very, very important. I understand, I totally understand in current Indian environment. We are in India, we are facing a lot of issues related to like database and all, but still also we have to be very defined and we have to produce the paper. Nobody see the challenges, everybody see the output. As I said, everybody see the output. You might face several challenges and you publish. And I generally believe whoever publishing in India, they are giants. Why? Because we publish and we have limited resources. So thank to all the scholars of India, those who are published. I'm very happy. And if you, at the same time you are in the USA, you are publishing, I am not feeling that much of grade. Why? Because you already have great professors, those who are having already A-star publication. You have a good resources and you are publishing, there is nothing new. And if you are producing some articles from developing countries like India, A-star or something, then you are innovative in your own way. Yeah, so my suggestion is, let's get started with something. Whether it is accepted or rejected, that doesn't matter. In my experience, I got because my ambition is always very high. Once your ambition is very high, you will settle with average. And if your ambition is average, then you will settle with low. Okay, because in the first article I submitted to tourism management, that time it was #1 in tourism, and the impact factor is in the side score was 25, 20. And my guide told me, Ranjit, don't submit that article to that journal. You will get DEX rejected. Okay, but I said, it's fine, no issue. It got DEX rejected. I am happy. I'll never regret that why I have not submitted that paper to that journal. And I submitted that paper, and I am so fortunate. I got a revision from the #1 journal with Scopus. Okay, but unfortunately, because of lack of experience, we are unable to address the reviewer comment. So my article got rejected. Still also, I have a plan to publish in that journal. Because of some issue and early later, I'm not able to publish. I hope within 5 years, definitely I'll be publishing one article in tourism management. And recently we got published in some international journal of hospitality management, A-star, and also it. So you'll be always active. You should be always active, and you should be always vigilant. Whatever new method, whatever new tool, so that I can be pioneer. And you get updated. What is necessary? You should, and because that will give you novelty. If you are using something new, that means you are novel in your own way. And the challenges will come. And if you are using the same overutilized thing, concept and all, it will be challenged by the reviewer as well as the editor also. So as an author and reviewer, we want a limited challenge. When you are an innovative thing, you will face limited challenge. Because the concept is new. And you will get the benefit of doubt. And definitely you will get it from the editors and reviewer. Because now publishing is also one type of business. If you come with something new, journal are ready to publish. They will not reject your article. And you come with some recurrent study, immediately it will be get rejected. Because there is no novelty. Now, for example, you want to do a study on generative AI. Now generative AI is new. You do something, your article will be published. And you will do something with customer satisfaction loyalty, your article will be rejected. Because it is a overly studied in the context of tourism and hospitality. So always go with the trend or go with the flow. That is necessary. Once you are in the flow, once you are in the trend, and you are pioneer. Just for example, I will say one. For example, I will say one concept like encertification. I think this term may not be a lot of scholars may not be aware about the term encertification. Are you aware about the term encertification? Nobody aware. But everybody knows this concept. For example, in the YouTube, you see some ads will come. That is called encertification. So this is new. You write something, they will publish, because nobody has published any article with this. So you have to always update it with yourself. What is new in the market? Because the customer, just like it is a field of customer, editors are always interested to publish something new. And if you are having any innovative new idea, I think there is a less chance of getting rejection, and your article will be immediately published by the journal. Okay, so this is my suggestion to, the early career researcher, because I was also some point of time as the early career researcher. Okay, now I have established as a bibliometry researcher or like this. Okay, yeah, but my focus is you always start something, do something because a lot of the scholar come with to complete the PhD. Complete the PhD which supported by good number of publications. That will help you to get a job in the market. Now, market, if you go apply for the job, they will, okay, you have PhD degree, lot of candidates. How you can differentiate yourself from other? If you have published a star article, a star article will act as a differentiation from you from others. Okay, that will help you to get a job, and you can do a better salary negotiation. If you have a good number of applications, you can say directly to the VC, sir, okay, I have good number of applications, I can bring a research project, I can bring collaborations, that too. And VC will immediately, okay, you come in and join. And if you don't have anything new, okay, you are like a general candidate, they will reject you. So because it's not about your, because that is not about a one time, and it is just like a you spend, you do investment, return will be coming. Return will come. So you have to do some investment by writing the articles. Okay. So Radha sir, thank you. This is my suggestion.
Thank you, Ranjit. Martha, if there is no question, then we can conclude this session.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. I believe there are no more questions. And in this session, we had the chance to learn about various aspects of bibliometric analysis in depth. We were introduced about science mapping analysis and how to curate data too. Sir has also introduced us to certain important tools like VOSviewer, Bibliometrics, and BiblioShiny to carry out the analysis. Sir has also provided us useful points to remember for publishing a bibliometric research paper from his own valuable experiences. Thank you, sir, for that. Now that we have come to the end of our session, I would like to deliver the vote of thanks. I would like to thank our resource person, Dr. Ranjit Singh, for delivering an enchanting session today. I would also like to thank all the participants for your active engagement and participation in the session. Lastly, I would like to thank the faculty members and research scholars of Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mizoram University, for working tirelessly to conduct this workshop smoothly. Rajesh sir, is there anything else you would like to add?
Thank you, Ranjit. Again, we have your session on tomorrow, hands-on training. So
Yes,
please
thank you,
join
sir.
us at 1:30. Thank you.
So thank you all the students and Rajesh sir. Okay, I hope the session was meaningful for all of you. If you have anything related to bibliometry, you can directly approach through my mail ID. Okay, if you are writing or if you are plan to write anything, you need suggestions or any constructive comments, you can readily approach to me without any issue. Okay. Thank you very much.
Ranjit, our student will approach you, I think, for collaboration or guidance, for sure.
Yes, sir, I'll be very happy. Because
Yes.
I'll be very happy why they have learned something through my this workshop, and now they are approaching. Because I believe in outcome. Because once I conduct the session, is nobody approaching, I'll be believing that the session was not useful. If it was useful, then someone would be approach me. That is because I believe in outputs only. That means because of that session, now they are interested to conduct a bibliometric analysis. And that will
Okay,
give
then I'll
access
share
to
your
what-
email to our students, okay? With
Yes,
your
yes.
permission.
Yes, sir, please go ahead, sir. No issue.
Thank you, Ranjit.
Thank you.
The fourth session of the workshop will be held at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. And thank you and have a nice day. You may leave the meeting now.